come, gather round, everyone. They're about to talk Disney. I am still so confused as to whether I'm going to eat at Connections or Creations.
When cryptos creak and tombstones quake, spoons come out for a swinging wake. Happy hearts materialize and begin to vocalize. Grim grinning ghosts come out to socialize. Close your eyes and don't try to hide. Shrouded in a dark disguise. Grim grinning ghosts come out to socialize. When cryptos creak and tombstones quake, spoons come out for a swinging wake. Happy hearts materialize and begin to vocalize. Grim grinning ghosts come out to socialize. As the moon climbs high over dead oak tree, spooks arrive for the midnight spree. Creaky creeps with hairy eyes start to shriek and harmonize. Grim grinning ghosts come out to socialize. Hear the knell of a requiem bell. Reckless birds etherealize. Rise the spooks of every size. Grim grinning ghosts come out to socialize. Cryptos creak and tombstones quake, spooks come out for a swinging wake. Happy hearts materialize and begin to vocalize. Grim grinning ghosts come out to socialize.
You are now listening to a member of the Disney Podcast family. Head over to Disney Podcast Family on Instagram to see all the latest posts for this show and links to other great Disney podcasts.
Lawrence, I think that you loved the Halloween intro so much that you just had to hear it again.
You might be right. That's a good song. That's a banger, as they say.
It is. I was jamming again. I was like, oh, okay, all right. That's a surprise. No worries. We love Halloween. Hey, after, why not one more time after enjoying, I feel like Halloween, living here in Central Florida, you go to Disney World and Halloween starts in August. So we've had 3 months of Halloween. Why not one more time? We sent it off with a bang tonight.
I mean, Neil went to Universal's Halloween Horror Nights after Halloween, so why not? We'll just extend it.
Yeah, that's right. He did. So there you go. Welcome, everyone, to episode 71. We do this live because we do it for you over there in the chat. I see Tiffany Smith and Roderick Freeman and Benjamin Burton and Aaron Fletcher, 86JB, and Disney Dina. And welcome in, everyone. I will tell 86JB that so I've had his gift card ready to mail out, and it's been on my car seat for 2 days, and literally across the street from my hopefully I'll remember in the morning to send it out, but it is signed, sealed. It just has to get delivered. So that's good there. So welcome, everyone, to episode 71. We are going to talk about today how to do Disney with a toddler with Amy Smith. After that, we'll hit up some news from Dr. Disney, as well as Inside the Parks, which is our most popular segment. And that covers what we did live streaming in the parks this week in between podcasts. And that's a lot of fun to talk about. We'll talk about experiences as well as sometimes the tech side. So there we go.
Yes. And folks in chat, if you have questions for Amy, feel free to drop them in the chat. Put a Q in front of it so that we can see them more easily. And we'll see if she can answer them. We're not going to try and stump her, but I'm sure she has all the answers. Good. So without further ado, I'm going to bring her in here and we will welcome our guest.
Welcome, Amy, to the crazy place we call the DIZPod.
Hello, how are you?
Very
Great.
good, very good. We're honored to have you here. So,
Yeah.
Thank you, and I'm happy to be here as well. Thank you for asking me to be on this tonight.
Yeah.
you're welcome.
So, obviously we're going to concentrate on, travel tips for traveling with a toddler. And I have a few, not a few toddlers, I have a few tips.
I was going to say, what
um,
do I not know?
yeah, what do you not know? So that'll be the focus, but you are a travel agent. So if you would give us, kind of your background, how you got started doing this, why you chose to specialize kind of in traveling with a toddler, and tell us where people can find out more about you.
Okay, so I'm a travel agent with the Kind of Magic Travel. We're located out of New York, but we have agents pretty much along the East Coast. There's about 14 agents. It's a small agency.
Hmm.
I absolutely love Disney. I grew up going to Disney. When I started my own family, I started bringing them to Disney. And it's kind of funny how I started doing this. I am actually also a nurse, and I was out of work, and I was talking to one of my best friend's little sisters, and I was telling her she was planning a Disney trip and she had an agent, and I was giving her all this information when she was at my house, and I was giving her all these different tips and stuff. And she turned around and she sent her agent an email, and she's like, by the way, blah, blah, blah. Somebody told me this, blah, 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 blah. And the agent said, who are you talking to? Can I have her number? And he called me up on the phone and he's like, would you be interested in joining our agency? And as funny as it was something I actually was thinking about doing. So it probably had been about a month, 2 months that I was considering doing this. And when he reached out to me, I was like, absolutely, this is actually what I've been thinking about doing. So that's kind of how it started. I specialize in Disney because that's what I enjoy doing. That's what I do the most. I've traveled internationally. I've done a lot of traveling through the years, but Disney is really kind of my niche, and it's what I enjoy.
That's pretty cool. And that's probably how a lot of travel agents, Disney specialized travel agents, get started. Like they're helping family or friends, and they're like, okay, I probably just need to do this because they enjoy helping and giving tips and tricks. And for me, I could see how it probably helps you stay in the magic when you're not there. Is that true? Or yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's like, you know, you don't have that Disney sadness. Like, I just came home from my trip and you get the Disney blues. You still have to keep going and you're still working with it because you have clients going. So it kind of keeps that excitement going for me, which I love.
Right, right. That's similar for me and this show because, in preparing for the show and in doing the show on Tuesdays, I know that there's another night where I'm kind of all involved in Disney. So it certainly helps. Certainly helps. And where can people find out more about you and your agency?
Okay, so we have a website, www.akindofmagictravel.com, and I have a Facebook page, Amy's Fairy Tale Escapes, and I also have a Facebook group, tips and tricks of taking toddlers, preschoolers, and twins to Disney. And on that group, I have a lot of featured posts of different content that I've created, with different articles that I have written regarding going to Disney with littles.
Very, very cool. And so you have littles, and you have twins.
Yes.
Okay. How
Yes.
how is that? I mean, I have twin siblings, a brother and sister that are twins. So I know it from the sibling side, but from the parent side, how was that? Like finding out that you were gonna have twins.
Yeah, it was a surprise. When I found out I was having twins, twins do run in my family, and I did not expect to be the one carrying them next. But it's a lot of work. My daughter is just slightly 2 years older than my twins. So I had three children under 3 years old. But I mean, I love it. They're like little built-in best friends. They're so cute
Mhm.
together, and they absolutely every time I take them back to Disney, I love seeing how their interests have evolved and changed. Like this trip, my son has become obsessed with Pirates of the Caribbean, and he's walking around the house singing Pirate's Life for Me with his sword and his eye patch. So every trip it's a little different. The trip before it was Jungle Cruise, and he went back to school, his little daycare that he goes to, and he told them that he saw alligators, and I'm like, we didn't see alligators. We were in Disney, and then I realized Jungle Cruise, the alligators. He thought they were real.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Very, very cool. So, uh, when was your first trip to Disney?
Well, I was 2 years old,
All right.
so back in the '80s.
Wow.
That was my first trip. Yep, I'm an '80s baby, so
Go.
yeah. So that was my first trip. We went when Epcot first opened. We went several times when I was growing up, and I remember when back in the day the reservation systems were at the computer, and
Mm-hmm.
you'd have to walk over to the computer and pick up the phone.
Yep.
Wow.
We showed a picture that we took a look at Epcot's history, and we showed a picture of that on the wall, all the payphones, and they were all to call
Yeah,
for dining. Yeah, there was no app back then because there were no cell phones back then.
no, no. And I remember my parents being like, "This is so cool that they have this computer payphone system." Like they just thought it was the neatest thing. They made such a big deal about it that it stuck out in my mind all
Hmm.
these years later.
So now, you've gone. How often would you say you go to Disney?
This past year we went, well, so we went in July of 23, and then we went in January. We did a short little trip, and then we went in April, a short little stay, and then again we just went last week for Halloween. And yeah, so I go about a couple of times a year.
Okay, all right. Annual pass holder or no?
No,
No.
no.
All right. Um, so yeah, so I guess there's a plus there because you don't have to make reservations like we do. So if it's available, you just get to go. uh,
Yeah, I'm on the fence about getting it. I keep going back and forth which way I'm gonna go. So with it,
so if you do the Disney math, we talked about that. I think it was last show. We talked about doing
Yeah.
Disney math, and when you have an annual pass, you're like, well, I have to go because I have to get the value out of it. So you book more trips, and you're like, I don't have to pay for tickets, so I'm saving money. Never mind the car rental, the airfare, the the hotels.
the resort, yeah,
The tickets are free. It's fine.
exactly.
That's the person that's about to go on a solo trip on Saturday. So
Oh, okay, very nice.
yeah,
One
first.
of our agents is going to be down there next week. We were asked to go down there for a training by the BDM. So she's going to be down there for a solo trip. I was going to go, but unfortunately, since I just got back like last week, I couldn't finagle it
Mm,
with taking off for work again. But so yeah, it sounds something I want to do one day. I would love to take a solo trip.
yeah, yeah. It'll be this will be the first one. So we've done an adult only trip and left our daughter at home. We've done a couples trip and left all their kids and our kids and our child at home. But this will be the first time that I'm doing a solo trip, so we'll see how that goes. I'll be hanging out with Corey 2 of the days, Saturday and Tuesday. So we'll
Hmm.
and it
You'll have a good time.
will be just
Me and my husband did a solo trip too. It was nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
When are you leaving, Lawrence? Like
Uh,
when you're here, when you're leaving? Is it Wednesday, Thursday, or?
Wednesday. Yeah.
Oh, it is Wednesday.
Yeah. So I fly in
Okay.
Saturday and then I fly out Wednesday morning.
Oh, okay. I was going to consider a second night in a row out with you,
Oh,
but
no, we have to
yeah.
do the podcast on Wednesday night.
Oh, so we are doing it. Okay. I thought you said that initially. So we'll be back in studio.
That's right. So the two of us are doing Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, just the two of us. So it'll be interesting.
That'll be nice. You're gonna go to the first one on
Yeah.
the 8th?
No, we're going
No,
on
the 12th.
the 12th.
The 12th, okay.
Yeah. So, have you done parties or the holidays at Disney?
I did the Halloween party. This was my second time doing it this year. And I'm supposed to go do the Christmas party also. So that I have coming up in a few weeks.
Yeah.
I've never done the Christmas party before. I'm really excited about it. But I did the Halloween party. I love it. And we went back. I took the kids this year. They had a great time. They loved the trick-or-treating. We did the dance party with Caroline Max, and they had a blast. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, the Halloween party is our favorite. And we did Jollywood Nights last year. Catherine, my fiance, our daughter Finley, and Corey, the four of us went. We had a ball. It was so much fun. We did not do the first one, so I guess they'd kind of worked out a little bit of the kinks, but I think it was also just everybody wanted to go and try everything the first night, so it was kind of overwhelming. We went a couple weeks later, and I had such a good time. And so this year will be my first Very Merry Christmas party.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see how I like that one, because I've seen the parade.
I'm looking forward to the cookie and milk booths, the cookie crawl.
That's a Corey favorite. From what I remember, the cookie stroll.
I mean, when you're talking about Epcot, I've been screaming about this. Have you ever done that, Amy? Have you done the cookie stroll at Epcot?
No, I'm doing that also. I'm doing that this trip coming up too. I'm doing Epcot and I'm doing the Very Merry Christmas party. So,
Okay. Good. I wonder, we need to keep an eye out, Lawrence. I want to know when we are going to get the reveal of what cookies will be involved in this cookie stroll, because I'm going to guess this is about the 4th or 5th year that they've done the cookie stroll. I think, could be wrong. But the cookies aren't very good. They're just not good. They either lack taste, or they're too hard, or they're too soft, or there's a lot of problems with all those cookies. But definitely don't let me discourage you. Try them and get back to us. Let us know what you think.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, like, why can't we switch the cookies up? Like, the cookies have been the same for since we've been doing it, and I feel like we've been doing it for about 5 years. But we still do it. We do it to show our viewers, and it's not terrible, but it could be better. Yeah.
So you specialize in traveling to Disney with a toddler. Your children have already gone. How old were they when you first took them?
So my daughter, her first trip, to Disney. So my parents also snowbird in Florida. So they go down there. So a lot of times we go visit them, and then we'll do like little side trips. Sometimes we'll just stay at a resort. Sometimes, we don't always go to the park every time.
Mm-hmm.
But my daughter's first time to Disney was at Ohana. And she was about 3 months old. And then my twins' first time, they were about 10 months old, and we stayed at Bay Lake Tower.
Wow. And in the parks, how old were they?
My daughter's first time in the park, she was 2, and my twins were, I want to say, about little over 1.
Okay. So there's a lot.
COVID happened. My daughter was born and 2019. So COVID happened and we were supposed to go, and then obviously all the parks and everything were closed. So we skipped a little bit of time with her there.
Gotcha. So there's a lot of people like on social media, and I'm in a lot of the Facebook groups, I'm sure you are as well, that talk about taking a child to Disney at such a young age is a mistake. They're not going to remember it. What's your thoughts on taking them that young?
I have to say, that's a big pet peeve of mine. I don't like when people say things like that. Just because it's also your memories too as a parent, and being able to experience their reaction to the different things, whether they remember it or not, it's irrelevant, I feel, because to be honest with you, there's trips that I went on when I was maybe 10 or 12 years old. I don't remember them,
Mm.
you don't remember everything growing up. And I just feel like it's just exposing them to so much outside of what they normally see, and being able to kind of widen their horizons of things that they're exposed to. And also it kind of creates the individual growing up. I mean, if my parents didn't take me to Disney from such a young age, who knows if I would love Disney the way I do these days? Who knows if I would be doing that with my children?
Yeah.
And just like I said to you earlier, seeing my sons evolve and their likes evolve, and the different things that they're into from one trip to the next, it's very special to me, and those are the things that I cherish and I remember. And my daughter, I will tell you, like, she, when the first time that we went to the parks with her, we stayed in art animation in the Little Mermaid room. She still remembers those rooms to a T. Like, she will still bring things up from when she was 2 years old. So, she may not remember it when she's 20, but she remembers it now. So.
Corey, how old were Jacob and Jillian when they first went?
So Jacob was just over 3 years old, and they're 21 months apart. So I guess Jill was about 5 or about to be 5. So late 4 years old and new 3-year-old. And you know what? What I did was we put him in the minor leagues first. So what we did was, at the time, we were living up in Maine, and we wanted to do something different, something special with the kids. And I was one of those, like, oh no, people say they shouldn't go to Disney until they're like 5 or 6 or whatever. So what we did was we put the kids in a rented minivan with some family, and we drove down from Maine to Pennsylvania, and we went to Sesame Place Park. And what a wonderful park that is. If people have young ones and they can get there, I strongly recommend Sesame Place Park. It's a lot of fun. It's a water park. I think there's a parade every day. It's like a mini Disney, but it's Sesame Street themed. And so we went and we loved it. And our kids was behaved. They had a ton of fun there. We made a ton of memories there. We loved it so much we went back the next year. So Jacob was more like, he must have been just about 2 years old, or 1.5 or 1 3/4 when he went to that. I don't even remember, but he was really young, and they did well the first time. So we took him back the following summer and had a great time. And then I looked at my wife, Tammy, and I said, you know what? These kids are ready for Disney. So the following year we went, and they were 3 and like 4 3/4. And it was a good time. We had a really good time. They didn't hold us back from anything. So that's how old they were. It was a success for us. Now, Jacob, who is now 16, doesn't remember some of the things I recall. He doesn't remember. So there's that. But we remember, like Amy said, we have memories of it. We did not change him in changing rooms or family rooms. I don't even know if those existed yet.
Mm.
But we just found an area that was, well, not even private enough. I swear we changed him by the carousel once, but it's a double stroller or whatever. You could pull over the canopy. One blocks any area that could be seen, and we help each other out with the I'd hand Tammy the diaper, she'd give me the dirty one, throw it in a bag, give her the clean one, give her the wipes. Done, like a NASCAR pit stop. 2 minutes done. So it worked out well. The other thing that stood out to me was this. There's certain rides that my wife won't do, and we just saved them. We knew the kids would nap at some point, so we did everything with them that they would enjoy and they would want to do. And then when it came time to do like Space Mountain or something like that, my wife was content to sit outside while the kids napped, and dad went up and did all the rides that the kids or my wife wouldn't do. So it worked out very well for us.
So, yeah, and we took our daughter during COVID. It was Christmas, excuse me, Christmas of 2020 was their first time, and I probably spoiled them because the first time they saw Disney was when it looks its most magical. Excuse me, and so they went, and we had to decide, should we take her? And I I thought, well, this is the only time that I'm ever going to get to go to Disney at Christmas time. So let's just take advantage of it. One thing that stuck out to me was they're free. They're under 3, they're free. Like,
Yeah.
so you might as well do that and take them then. And then there were also, and these will be my tips for traveling with toddlers. So you can take, if you're flying, you can take the stroller, you can take the car seat if you need one, and it doesn't count as extra baggage or luggage. So certainly you can do that if you like. Recently, with our daughter being 5, the last 2 trips we rented a stroller when we got there because her stroller is a little bit older now, and she's certainly grown. So we got now a jogger that we rent when we've gone to the park the last 2 times. What are your feelings on renting or taking your own stroller, or even renting from the Disney stroller that they have?
So actually, I have a whole article about that on my Facebook group about strollers in the transportation system. I personally, I have a Zoe Trio. I have a triple stroller, which is Disney approved. It's a double, and then it has a third seat that attaches in the front.
Hmm.
And they actually sell like a double front seat. So if you needed a quad, you can make it a quad stroller, which is actually Disney approved, which is kind of cool. So I bring my stroller with me. I gate check it at the gate at the airport.
Mm-hmm.
And when we get there, it's right there. As soon as we disembark the plane, the stroller's right there. I put the kids in it. I love bringing my stroller. Even like I wouldn't be able to survive Disney without my stroller, because my children, I feel, they couldn't do all that walking. They're still, on the younger side. I also like throwing all my stuff in there. I
Yeah.
have a whole the diaper bag. You have the storage underneath. You just put all your stuff in there, and it's a good place to hold things, so you don't have to worry about going on the rides with everything. I just wear my little purse, my crossbody purse on the rides. I A lot of my clients will do transportation to from the airport to the resort, and I use Away We Go a lot with them, and they have stroller rentals. They also have a Zoe rental. So a lot of my clients will rent through them. I also have a girl that I know local to the area that does baby quip rentals.
Hmm.
She's great to work with also. Her name is Alex. And otherwise, I do Kingdom strollers, which is good too. They'll drop them off at the resort and pick them up. I personally shy away from the rentals in the park just because of the fact that they're kind of those hard plastic strollers. And if you have littles that are going to fall asleep,
Hmm.
you don't want to have to wake them up to return the stroller at the end of the night, because you can't bring those strollers back to your room. And also, that's like another thing when I'm talking to my clients about their upcoming trips, trying to figure out what accommodations are best for them. I do tend to take that into play, whether they have a double stroller or single stroller, because the different transportation systems, like the bus, you always have to fold your stroller.
Right.
But if you have a single stroller on the Skyliner, it doesn't need to be folded, or if it's a tandem double, a side by side does need to be folded. The monorail, you don't have to fold them, and on the friendship boats, the larger boats, you don't need to fold them, which is great. I love that. So
Yeah.
I'm all about convenience, especially when it comes to kids at the end of the night at a Disney park. Get them back to their room, keep them asleep, if you can. If you don't have to wake them up, it's better. So.
Right. Right. 100%. Yeah, we're right there along with you. We love staying at a resort that is on the Skyliner, because then just boop, right, head right on. No having to fold it up, or if she's sleeping, you don't have to worry about waking her up. So yeah, totally. Now I'm assuming you've done a lot of ride swap.
Yes, yeah, we do ride or switch a lot. Yeah.
And that's something that a lot of people don't know about. So would you talk a little bit about rider swap and how that kind of works, the basics of it?
Yeah, so rider swap is extremely simple to use. When you go to a ride that you want to ride, where maybe your child isn't tall enough to ride it, you go to the blue umbrella, the guest services umbrella outside of the ride, and you explain to them that you want to do rider swap. One person that is riding the ride will go onto the standard queue. Unless you have a lightning lane for that ride, then they would go through the lightning lane entrance. They would ride the ride while the other party is staying back with the children or child. They could do whatever they want. Usually it's a good time for a snack or one of those big pink donuts from Joffrey's. The kids can kind of play, do what they want to do. And then when that person completes riding the ride and comes back, the other party will go through the lightning lane of that ride, so that they don't have to stay on the standard queue for the whole time. So they would enter the lightning lane entrance, ride the ride, and then rejoin the party.
And I think it was a recent change where now if you had, say, an additional party, so like for us, we have my son, who's 21, that he could go with me in the standby line while Catherine's waiting with our daughter, and then when we come out, he could ride again with Catherine, so that she doesn't have to ride by herself.
Yes, yeah, they so I know that in the past they were saying that it was touch or like hit or miss, but I've never had an issue even before the changes with them allowing my daughter to ride with both parties. So I think it's just, so now how they're doing it is they are allowing it, where previously they were not, right? Because I never had any problems.
Yeah, so it's now part of the rule, is that
Hmm.
they allow a second person to go on, so that the last person doesn't have to ride by themselves. Whereas before, I guess, it was kind of hit or miss, which, is part of that pixie dust sometimes.
Hmm.
Now they've just made it part of the rule, which is good. Um, Obviously, every park has first aid and a baby changing station and a nursing station. I know that we used the one in Animal Kingdom, and I was blown away. That was the first park that we used one at, and I was blown away by how big it was, how comfortable and quiet and private it was. What are your feelings on those in the parks? Are they up to par where they should be?
I absolutely love them. I think they're a great resource. It's so nice to have a nice, clean. Not that the bathrooms aren't clean, but to have a nice open area to change your child. They sell diapers. They sell wipes. They have a microwave to heat up food for people whose children have food allergies. They have a bottle warmer. They have a nursing room, which is nice and It's behind a closed door, but it's a nice large room in there with rocking chairs. They have, so much stuff. They also sell over-the-counter medications, like Tylenol, things like that, if you need it for your children. I definitely utilize them. The one in Epcot, I absolutely love. The one in Magic Kingdom, I love as well. The Magic Kingdom one is always a little more crowded, I notice. The Epcot one, when we go there, it's pretty empty. It's kind of like off to the side a little bit. It's in the Odyssey building. So in between the World Showcase and World Celebration. But absolutely love them. I actually had my son at the first aid last week because and I made a joke on my post because my 15-year-olds also are one of our past trips. She had hurt her ankle prior to the trip, so we had to go to the first aid to get a new ACE wrap or something. So I feel like I'm always at the first aid in Epcot. But I had my son there because he had a little bit of a cough, and it was just that morning he woke up, he was coughing a lot, and we had gone to Ohana, and he kept coughing and coughing. So I said, let me just bring him to the first aid. The nurse there was awesome. She listened to his lungs, checked his pulse ox. She gave us information for an urgent care center if we should need it. She also gave me information for a pharmacy that delivers directly to Epcot or to any of the parks. So if you need a medication while you're in the park, they will send it directly to the park for you, which is kind of cool. You don't even have to have it sent to the resort. It goes directly to the park. She gave us all that information, and we went next door into the baby changing area to look for an over-the-counter type of cough medicine, but they didn't have the one that we were looking for. So I actually did an Instacart order, and it got delivered right to the room. But, it's a great resource to have, and I find it very, very helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, we had to visit this last summer, not this one, the 23. We had to visit First Aid at Magic Kingdom because our daughter was overheated, and so she just didn't seem right. So we took her right there, and it's not like these are just cast members, right? Like in first aid, like these are professionals. They're going to make sure that you are well taken care of. So I was really not happy to have needed it, but happy it was there. Because things happen. I mean, one of our friends, got hurt in Disney on a curb, and they're able to help to some degree while they're waiting for EMS to come. So I think Disney does a really good job of catering to just making sure that you're taken care of, should something like that happen. And I think I'll say it again, like Catherine put in chat, the short toilets in Animal Kingdom. We went in there with just these little short toilets, and it's just so different than what you see in a lot of the other parks, a lot of the other.
They even have the little urinals.
Yeah.
In the one in Magic Kingdom, they had like a toddler size urinal in the companion room.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Now, what about your kids? Are they picky eaters?
Are they picky eaters? They don't. Yes, yeah. I would say they're picky eaters. They're funny eaters. I mean, if you give them steak, they'll eat steak. They love steak. You give them mashed potatoes, they won't touch it. So they're picky in their own way. They love the Mickey waffles and the mini waffles, and they all that type of stuff. But yeah, they're on the picky side. We tend to do a lot of snacks. I like to kind of balance our day with one sit down meal. This just always what's worked for us. So we usually do one sit down meal a day, whether that's a character meal or regular dining. And then we will do like Uncrustables for lunch. I Instacart Uncrustables because it's cheaper to do it than buy them in the park for like $7 an Uncrustable because my kids can eat 2 of those. And I'm not about to spend, 14 times 3 on Uncrustables there.
Yeah.
So I tend to Instacart them, and we'll eat that during the day in the park. And then we will do like either a if we do a breakfast as a sit down, we'll do a quick service for dinner. If we're not going back, we tend to go back to the room a lot to kind of relax, swim, pool, things like that, because they're little. If we're not going back to the room, I'll usually try to plan some type of sit down dining in the late afternoon, like 2-3 o'clock, just to kind of give us a break from the go and the heat of the park and get into the air conditioner and just kind of chill and recollect themselves.
So do you recommend that to a lot of your clients, like to take that midday break?
Yes, I do. I definitely recommend it. I feel it makes a big difference. I Just for example, in this past trip we did the Halloween party. So we got back to the room. It was like 12:08. And then we got up the next morning. We did Ohana for breakfast, and we walked over to the Ticket and Transportation Center from the Polynesian, and took the monorail over to Epcot. And we did Epcot in the morning. We had like 8:30 Ohana reservations, and we did the whole World Showcase, and we headed back to the room around 2 o'clock, I would say. Went back. The kids napped for 3 hours. They were exhausted. I even took a nap. I was like, we were all slept. We really took a hard nap, all of us. And then we went back. It was extended evening hours that night for deluxe guests. So we went back to the park, and we were there till it closed at 11. And we had the most amazing experience too, going back at night like that. So I definitely recommend it. It gives the kids time to recharge. And it just makes for less tantrums.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, we have found that as well recently, and I think for us it's a little different because we're annual pass holders. So we know if we don't, we don't have to do rope drop to rope up. We can take a break in the middle, because if we miss something, we'll see it the next time we're there. We'll see it the next day. So we have found that giving Finley a midday break certainly makes the evening much better for us. So
Yes.
I'm with you there. Corey, did you do straight through with your kids when they were younger?
Once a diehard, always a diehard. We never once went back to. We never left that park. When we got in that park, we never left that park till the end. We put the rope up, and we continue to put the rope up. No, we didn't. We didn't want to miss anything. We wanted to get everything in that we could. And like I said, the kids just napped in the stroller, and they were fine. But the one thing I will say, it took us 3 trips for Jacob to finally see Main Street Electric Parade, because I couldn't keep him awake. I couldn't smack that kid to stay awake. 2 times. I'm like, come on, bud. It's the parade. You missed it last year. And he missed it the next year. But he finally saw it, I think, in year 3. So if he would have maybe had a better rest, that probably would have helped. But other than that, the kids were good, and we did the whole thing. We never went back. But it works for a lot of people.
Yeah. So Corey brings up the parade. So I'll ask you this as one of our final questions. Of the announcements at D23, what are you most excited for?
Cars Land.
Oh,
all right.
Cars Land. I am. My boys are big Lightning McQueen fans, and I've been teetering with the idea of going over to Disneyland. We have never been, because of Cars Land. So I'm really excited to see that coming to Magic Kingdom.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I don't know. There were so many good announcements there. I mean, Villains Land and Monsters Inc. There's so much to look forward to. And what about Do you do trips for folks to Universal as well?
Yeah, we do, our agency does Universal, Disney, all major cruises, like all major cruise lines, sandals, beaches. We do all of it. I have done a few Universal, but I have not been there with my kids yet, to be honest with you.
Okay.
So I haven't ventured over there onto the other side.
Yep.
Yeah, the other side. I mean, it is a
Yeah.
place that, and it's not because, how can I say it? Universal, it's really not for the young. It's just not.
Mm.
Like, there's not enough to keep young ones interested. So I think you got to get them into their teens, or yeah, maybe before they're 10, if they become a really heavy Harry Potter fan, then that's your in. But yeah, you kind of have to wait overall, I think,
Yeah.
for the kids to be entertained.
I've been there myself. The last time though I was there was prior to Harry Potter Land, so it's been quite a while. And I do want to go for Harry Potter Land one day, but I've been holding off because, unless I do a solo trip or just me and my husband, I want to wait till my kids are a little older.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
mean, at this point too, you might as well wait till at least next summer because you've got Epic coming too.
There we go. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. What is your favorite resort to stay at?
Okay, so out of all the ones that I've stayed at so far, which I've stayed at All Star Sports, I've stayed at Art of Animation, I've stayed at Caribbean Beach, I've stayed at Beach Club, the Polynesian, the Grand Floridian, and Bay Lake Tower at the Contemporary. Out of all of them, I would say my favorite, hands down, is the Polynesian. I really like it there. My best stay, though, that we did was a split stay between the Polynesian and Beach Club. And the reason why that was my favorite stay is because we took the monorail to Magic Kingdom and Epcot while we were at the Polynesian. And then once we went over to Beach Club, we were able to walk into Epcot. And Epcot is my husband and my favorite park. So we were able to use the International Gateway entrance and then just take the boat over to Hollywood Studios or the Skyliner if you want. I just love the ease of the transportation with that split stay. And I have to say, like, some people, I do have clients that do the split stays and they enjoy it as well. It's not for everybody, but I have a whole organizational system for my packing when I do it. I do like one of the shoe rack roll bags for my children, so all their clothes are labeled for the day of the week, and then I just roll it up and put it in the suitcase, and me and my husband get packing cubes labeled with each resort we're staying at, so that we just have to take the one cube out and then put it in the suitcase. And what's great is Bell Service. You just call them and they move all your stuff over to the next resort that you're staying at. So it's super easy and convenient, and it allows you to kind of have two different vacations in one because you're exploring two different resorts. So
Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing organizational skills. Wow. That's amazing. One new
when you're
thing that I
traveling
tried,
when you're traveling with a party of six and a teenager and three littles, you have to be very organized.
one new thing that we tried, we did a cruise for the first time this year. We did the Royal Caribbean Allure of the Seas, and this past summer, and I was just looking for ways to be a little more organized. And I found, I don't even know what you call them. I found on Amazon, they come in a pack of like 5. It's like bags with zippers, and they compress. So I gave each family member their own color, and we stuffed our shirts in, and you can compress them down as you zip them. So your socks, your underwear in one, your t-shirts in another, your shorts and bathing suits in another, and you just toss them all in the big bag, the big suitcase, and when you divvy them out when you get to the room. Really nice.
Yeah, those are nice. I put the kids' Halloween costumes in that for the Halloween party. So we did, they were Woody, Buzz, Little Bo Peep, and my husband and I were Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head. So, but the costumes were a little bulky, so I used those compression bags and it worked perfect in the suitcase.
Yeah, I like them. We'll use them more for sure.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite airline that you recommend to people?
So because I live on Long Island, I have an airport very close to my house in Islip, so it's like 15, 20 minutes away. So the airlines that fly out of there, well, JetBlue just started flying out of there the end of October. We actually flew home on them the other day, which I was really excited about because I like JetBlue. But other than that, it's Southwest and Frontier out of there. So I typically fly Southwest and JetBlue for the most part. If prior to them being an Islip, I would go out to JFK to take them. Those are just what I find to be the most reasonable airlines, and that's just what I know. I also have a ton of Southwest miles, so it definitely
Nice.
helps.
Yeah.
So a family comes to you and they want to know, hey, we want to really maximize our experience. What are the top 3 things that you think we should do on our 7-day trip?
That all depends on the preferences of the family. So what I usually do is I try to get a feel for them as far as, obviously the ages of the children. Are they into Star Wars? Are they into roller coasters? And then we kind of go from there. So, like, it can vary. Like, the top 3 things could be seeing the fireworks at Magic Kingdom. It could be going into Germany and doing the glass art. There's so many different things. And that's what I love so much about Disney is there's something for everybody. And not to divert from the question, but I see people a lot of times in these forums post things like, I'm going with a teenager and a toddler, and how am I going to entertain these age differences? But there literally is something for everybody. And I see that firsthand, my 15-year-old going on Rock and Roller Coaster with her dad, and my 5-year-old loves Tower of Terror. Like, there's just something for all age groups. But as far as like the top 3 things, I would say obviously if you're into fireworks, you got to see fireworks at Magic Kingdom and watch Tink fly out of the castle. We recently, our last trip, we did the Seats and Treats, which we had not done before. Have either of you guys done that?
No.
The dessert party?
No.
Mm-mm.
It was
No.
awesome. It was awesome.
Okay.
And I have a lot of clients with children with special needs also. And I highly recommend, now that I've done that firsthand, I'm going to recommend it for those clients too, because it gives you a place outside. You do the dessert party that's going on during the fireworks. So it's not like they have like a pre-party and a post-party. Those parties, you sit in a roped off area on the grass, and then you go have the desserts either before or after the fireworks. This one, you actually sit at Tomorrowland Terrace during the fireworks, and you can watch the fireworks from Tomorrowland Terrace. And it was really great. It's not too loud. It's obviously there's still fireworks, but it's not as loud. It's not as crowded. You don't feel that, for people that don't do well with crowds, or children that don't do well with crowds, it really gives them that space to kind of spread out. And the dessert spread was pretty cool. It was, they have beer, wine, things like that. And then they have like cheese and crackers and different pastries. And they had, for the kids, they had decorate your own cookie, which was kind of cool. It was a little bit of a disaster for my kids, but it was cool. So I had, all 3 of them were fighting over the icing, and it got a little messy, but they had fun. So,
How's the view of the castle from there, projection wise? Are you able to see everything, or is it compromised?
So you can see, I mean, we got there early. I suggest getting there like 45 minutes before it starts to, like, I think it was 7:30 arrival. We got there at like 6:45. And we did get a seat right up on the railing. We were able to see everything. There was one tree. I wish they would just cut that tree down. There was one tree that kind of obscured like the bottom right side of the castle, but overall it was a very good view. And I mean, it was awesome because Tink lands right above you. So she literally kind of flew right over us, which was neat.
That's
Yeah.
really cool. Yeah, I've always wondered because I do notice those trees, and when I'm walking through at times and I see the dessert parties going on, I'm like, "Ugh, I'm not so sure about that view." But now that we've heard it from you, it's much better than it seems from up higher when you're just observing from a distance.
Yes, yeah, it really wasn't that, like it was but to the bottom right from where we were sitting, it really was not much of an obstruction. And there were people that sat before us. The people that got there on the later end, they were kind of back further in the terrace. I think it goes like 3 rows back. So that's why I say get there early. Because if you get there early, you get a seat right up on the railing and you have the best views.
Good to know. When people are booking with you, are there things that you make sure that you make sure they pack going with a toddler? They know the basics. You got to bring your wipes and things like that. But there's certain things you find like these are must do things that you may not have thought of.
So I have a whole packing list for the park bag. And my big number one go-to is the stroller hooks. Those they're called like the
Yes.
mommy hook, but they have all different brands of them now. Love the stroller hooks. We bring refillable cups for them, so they have like a Yeti cup, and we just hook it right on the back of the stroller. We hook bags for things that we buy at the park on the back of the stroller. The stroller hooks are just they save us. I actually hook if I take the front seat off of the triple stroller, I hook it on the back of the double because it only weighs 8 pounds. I literally just hook it back there if I don't need the triple at that time, or if we need to if it's going to rain, we usually fold it up and put a rain cover on it because we only have a double rain cover for our triple stroller. So, but yeah, the stroller hooks are great. Um, the snack cups, I love those little like suction snack cups that they can snack on when they're little. Kind of keep everything in place on the tray. I also usually they're like a silicone strap that goes on the bar of the stroller, and you can attach their drink cup to that or their snack cup to that. That way it doesn't fall and get lost into the abyss of the crowds. So I tend to use those. Um, I mean, pretty much those are my big things. I also air tag my stroller. I just do. It helps me because sometimes when you go into a ride, the cast members will reorganize the strollers, and then you get out and you're going, "Where is my stroller?" And the tags, like I see a lot of families use the name tags for the strollers. Those are kind of cool too because it helps. If you have my stroller kind of stands out because not too many people have triple strollers. But if you have a stroller like a City Mini in black that everybody else has, it's kind of nice to have those personalized tags on them so it's easy to find.
I was walking by behind the carousel prior to Happily Ever After the other night, and I mentioned to the audience watching during the live stream, I said, "Wow." I said, they've really increased the amount of strollers back here. I haven't seen it this big in a long time. And I said, and also just know if you're coming with a stroller, don't expect to find it where you left it. So the air tag is a good idea for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course, they didn't
Yeah.
have those when we had the stroller. We had our stroller, but yeah, you'd never find the stroller where you leave it.
Nope. You don't. And one thing I this sounds, one thing I keep seeing in these groups, and I know the intention is good with it. It's coming from a good place, but I really wish that guests would stop leaving their strollers behind. Um, Disney has a whole parking lot filled of strollers. People leave strollers. They're like, "We're checking out today. Here's a stroller if anyone wants to use it." But those strollers just kind of get abandoned, and sometimes people don't know that those strollers are being handed down to somebody else to use, because people keep in the resorts, they keep strollers outside their room doors, they keep the scooters outside the room doors, so that stroller could just be sitting there and the family has gone but nobody knows, and then it winds up in this lot. Like
Mm.
Disney literally has a lot full of strollers. So I know it comes from a place of good intention, but I just don't think that it's something if you want to donate it, maybe donate it to a local charity or something like that, where they can really, it'll go to somebody who can use it. So it's not sitting in a parking lot somewhere.
Yeah.
Neil in chat says it's a good idea to bring hearing protection for children, especially the little ones. Earplugs for the adults is a good idea too. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we
Yes.
bring noise canceling headphones for Finley, especially when she was younger. Now she's a little bit more adapt to it, but she loves fireworks. But there was one night where we forgot them, and so she was covering her ears, and then they would end. She'd clap real quickly, and then she'd go back to covering her ears. So yes, earplugs or headphones do work. So that's a good tip there.
Are you in the club where?
Yeah.
Are you in the club too, where at some point the stroller tips backwards because it's too heavy with the mommy hook?
All the time.
We're all guilty of that one. We're all guilty of that one.
If I have the front seat on it as a triple, it doesn't happen as much, but it's happened to me several times, especially when my twins were younger and they were. And if I'm like take one out to change one, or somebody takes one out of the stroller and only one's in there, next thing I know the stroller's tipping back with the kid in it. Not fun. Not fun. But thank God nobody ever got hurt. But yeah, so
I don't know if you can.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Oh, so probably the last thing I can think of at this moment. As far as character meet and greets, we always liked to prioritize as many character meals as we could on a 10-day trip, because it really, really reduces your amount of time in the parks waiting to meet characters. We love to meet characters, but it's always been the least of the priority when we're trying to get to shows and ride rides. So being able to knock out, 1900 Park Fair, which at the time was Alice in Wonderland characters, Cinderella characters, and whatever, you knock out. You don't have to wait in line anywhere for Pooh and Friends because you ate at Crystal Palace and so on. So we always made sure we did as many of those as possible, and we really didn't take time to wait in many lines.
I do the same. I tend to do the same. This trip we did Ohana, which we've done before. We did Chef Mickey's, which actually I did a last minute reservation for that one. That was kind of like a spur of the moment thing for dinner. And what was the third dining we did? There was one other. Hold on. I'm already forgetting. Ohana, Chef Mickey's, and it was the day. I can't remember right now, but we did three. We did three character meals during our trip. I don't know why I can't remember the third one, but I tend to do those same reason, to cut down on meeting the characters in the park. I will say, and I think Lawrence has seen the blog that I wrote about Epcot, and a lot of people pass up on Epcot with little kids. They feel like Epcot's not a park for little kids. I feel like that can't be further from the truth. There's so many character meet and greets there. If you look in my Disney Experience app, and I actually have a reel on my Instagram about this, you have, Alice in Wonderland, you have Belle. I mean, obviously they rotate. They're not all the same, but all the different countries have its own meet and greet. And then you also have the characters there. You have Mickey and Minnie. You have the rare ones like Inside Out, that they're there to meet them, which my daughter is all about Inside Out now at her age. There's just so much for the kids to do there. And I will say, I feel like the lines there for the characters aren't as long typically. Because I don't know if they're as well known. I don't know why. I'm not sure why they're not as long, but I noticed that the lines for the characters are not as long in Epcot as they are in other parks. I did notice, though, this past time, we were going to do Winnie the Pooh in England in the back in Christopher Robin's bedroom, which I think is such a cute setup. but the line was so long, I peeked my head back there. I said, I will do it next time. But I think that location has kind of gone a little viral because a lot of people have been posting it. I've seen on videos and things like that. But as far as Epcot goes, I think it has so much for kids. You have Journey of Water with Moana. You have the Seas with Nemo. You have Turtle Talk with Crush, which we love. And the aquarium is massive. I don't know if you guys have ever checked out that aquarium. We had the fortunate going back late at night the other night. We were the only people in the aquarium. It was so cool. We got so many awesome pictures. It was empty. There was nobody there. We went up on the second floor. We went all through the first floor. There's just so much for the kids to do there. And then you have the Frozen ride, and you have Ratatouille, and you have meeting Elsa and Anna. We've done the breakfast there at Akershus, which is really good. I really enjoy that breakfast. It's a great princess breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot for kids to do in Epcot. I think the mentality of that it's not for kids is kind of maybe when it first opened. In the 80s, it was more the World Showcase. There wasn't enough for the kids to do. And I think people still think like, oh, the kids will get bored during the World Show, like going through the World Showcase. But my kids love it. They love the ride in Mexico, right? And even in each of the different countries, they have a Kid Cot station. So it's a little area for the children to go, and they can fill out, they get a postcard, and they can color it, and they get a stamp, and it's for each country. And at the end, when they collect all those little postcards, they can cash it in for a real postcard, which is kind of cool. The kids really like it. And there's also different, what I also like too about Epcot is like the little ornate different things that you could do in the countries, like in how Italy, you can do the masquerade mask, you could paint your own mask. How in Germany, you could do the glass art. You have the pearl in the oysters in Japan. Like there's just so much different little things in those countries that people, I think, tend to skim over, as they're going through the World Showcase.
Well, one thing that we do, I don't remember when we started doing it, but Finley loves it now, is the scavenger hunt. So similar to KidCon, you have the scavenger hunt. It's $10, and you go around. Typically, it's the World Showcase. Sometimes they'll venture in, like I think Art was up in a little bit in World Celebration and World Discovery. But for the most part, it's World Showcase, and you're going around the countries, and you got to find whatever it is, the Easter egg, Olaf, the pumpkin, whatever it is for that festival or holiday going on. And she absolutely loves it. Like if we go and it's a non-festival, non-holiday time, she's disappointed. That was the time that we did KidCot to kind of fill in for not having that scavenger hunt. But I think that's a great way to get the kids excited about looking through World Showcase, whereas we are, going to eat at the food booths. And if you're with Corey, you're stopping at every food booth. But,
I like to eat.
It's a good way to get kids involved in the World Showcase and looking to take a look at the different countries. So yeah, it's very cool. That's a good tip there. So
yeah, I love the scavenger hunts too. They're a lot of fun.
Yeah. So again, this has been Amy Smith with A Kind of Magic Travel. Remind us of your Facebook group or page where they can find you.
So it's Amy's Fairy Tale Escapes is my Facebook business page. And I have a group, tips and tricks of taking toddlers, preschoolers, and twins to Disney.
Love it. Love it. Any other tips that we did not touch on that you wanted to bring up?
I feel like we covered a lot of stuff. I think that we did a pretty thorough job with everything. We talked about Rider Switch, and we talked about the packing list, and strollers. That's a big one. I see the stroller question all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I think we did really good. I think we covered everything.
Awesome. It has been a blast having you on. I appreciate you giving us your time to come on the show. I think this is a great topic. A couple weeks ago, we did Disney with seniors. So now we flipped the script and we're doing Disney with toddlers. So next episode is going to be Disney with middle-aged men. No, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have Neil on. We're going to have Neil on as our special guest.
That's right.
And Thank you. Thank you so much for having
Thank
me on
you.
here tonight. I really enjoyed this, and I'm glad that I'm able to, get my tips and advice out there and help others. So I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
No, we appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for
Yep.
coming on.
Anything else you want to share? Just reach out to me, and we'll be glad to have you on as another guest.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
All right.
And thank you again for having me. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank
Thank
you
you so
so
much.
much. We
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
Take care. Have a good night.
You too. Well, there, all the information. It's like I always say, Lawrence, even we don't always have all the answers. And if we don't, we know where to find them. We can get you a full rundown of any subject you're interested in the Disney parks. So, yeah, if anyone has any other questions, a show we haven't seen yet, definitely email us at the DIZPod at gmail.com, right?
Hmm.
And we will do our best to get to that for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I I think that our show kind of took on this role this season of edutainment, kind of like Epcot was originally. We want to bring you some fun and laughs, but also help you understand Disney a little bit more, a little bit better. So we're certainly trying to do that with some of the shows that we are doing, and I think that this was just another great episode. And like Corey said, it's not us. We like to find people that know what they're talking about, and have them on as guests, because that just makes a a world of difference than just having Corey and I sit here and talk to you.
Yeah, I mean, we could have done a decent show, but the show was made excellent when you bring on people that specialize in these things. So,
Yeah, yeah.
very good.
Um, we going inside the parks?
Let's go inside the packs. All right, we're inside the parks. And let's see, let me travel back here. On Saturdays, we were at Hollywood Studios. If I go back a little bit, we were at Magic Kingdom. Come on in, Lawrence. I don't remember really doing much. Oh, wait a minute now. So for Magic Kingdom, I did Tiana's. I remember doing that, and it was a walk on, literally a walk on. So it begs the question. I feel like lately when I've done Tiana's and I've saved it towards the end of the night, two things. Is Tiana now running much more smoothly and to accommodate everyone? And then at the end of the night, if you don't have a reservation, they just might let you on because I have witnessed that, and it was a walk on from me. So, uh, you know, I think that might be a thing. So it begs the question, will at some point sooner than later, will Disney just take that off the reservation queue?
So my guess has really always been when they announced that it would only be on virtual queue for a short time. My guess has always been December, figuring that was enough time to let the hype die down. Plus, you're getting to the colder months. So, you're going to have less people that want to do Tiana's and get wet and all that. So, my guess has always been December. I mean, we're here in the beginning of November. Maybe it's December. My only worry is then, you do have the heightened visitation with the holidays, and if it's a warmer December, that could skew things a little bit. But I'm gonna say December. What do you think?
Oh, I'm buying right into that as you say that. I hadn't given it a thought, but that would be a good time to transition into that and feel it out and see how it goes. We don't have any history of Disney taking something off and putting it back on, do we? I don't think that's happened. It feels like once they do it, there's no turning back.
Yeah, I don't think that's happened, and I know that there were more virtual queues, at least in Universal. I'm trying to think back to Disney, and I can't. But I know Universal had more virtual queues when I went in 2020. I don't know that Disney did. I can't remember that for some reason. I only remember because I had to do the virtual queue for Race Through New York, the Jimmy Fallon ride at Universal, which now most people would be like, "What? You need to do a virtual queue for that?" But that's how they were doing it back then.
I feel like Universal did their virtual queue differently, and, if I remember correctly, I liked it. I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, you don't have to get up at 7 in the morning to get it, I don't
Right.
think, but
Yep.
you just had to be in the park, and times would pop up, you know? "Oh, hey, Jimmy Fallon's available,
Mm.
for these times right now." Boom, you grab one. They can go away, they can come back. That was pretty cool. But I think that mentioning, Disney never goes back to it, I think it's time to bring the Tron one back because you're just looking at times that are unmanageable. Like, say you go to the park late in the day, you're talking 150 minutes, 120 minutes, like ridiculous amounts of time for Tron. So it might be time to bring that one back. I
Mm.
think that one was not as successful as they hoped, and it would be good to bring that one back and you take Tiana's away and see how that goes. I mean, there's nothing wrong in taking it back. It's okay. It's okay if you made a mistake. It's
I
all
w-
right.
I was very surprised when they made the announcement that they were going to remove Tron from the virtual queue. I thought it was still too early, but I said maybe I'm not there in the parks every day. Maybe I'm not seeing something that there really is. And I worried like, okay, we're gonna see like 3-hour waits for Tron, and that's kind of what we're seeing on the busiest days. So
And I
we'll
thought it would loosen up late in the evening. Like, we've watched it. We've watched it. You're over at the People Mover, park closes at 10, it's 9:45, and that thing's still sitting at 90 minutes. It's like,
yeah,
"Huh?"
yeah.
I mean, we like challenging things, right? Trust the lines, not the signs. Some night we might have to just walk in there and see if it's actually 90 minutes. I bet it's more like 40 or less.
Hopefully. Well, we'll
Yeah.
be watching it Saturday, won't we?
Yeah. We can watch it Saturday. We'll be there.
We'll be
We
there.
will be there. Are you going to be there too?
Yeah.
Are you hanging out with us on Saturday till midnight at Magic?
What am I gonna? I'm gonna go to Disney and I'm gonna go to Epcot when you're at Magic.
I Wait a minute. What day are you coming? You're coming in on Saturday,
Yeah,
right? Oh, yes. All right. We're gonna have some fun.
I'm flying.
Tammy and I went from going solo together on Saturday to a posse again. We'll have you and maybe Shirley and Alyssa, Neil. It'll be a good time.
Yeah,
All right.
so I'm flying in Saturday, dropping my bags at sports or music wherever I'm staying, and getting to the park.
Perfect. So if we jump ahead to Saturday, Saturday was the first time since Jillian was born over 18 years ago that Tammy and I have stepped foot in a Disney park, Disney property without kids
Mm.
or friends. That was a monumental day, let me tell you. So
How did it
it
feel?
was a lot of fun. What's that?
How did it feel?
It felt great. It really did. I keep thinking back on that day all week. I'm like, I just had so much fun with her. Yeah, we were with the stream, but we've learned to integrate the stream with our experiences, with our friends. So even though the stream was with us, I just really felt like Tammy and I had some good one-on-one private time, and we really enjoyed each other. So um, don't get me wrong, we love our friends. And matter of fact, Tammy was like, Shirley could have come with us,
Mhm.
but for whatever reason, Shirley stayed back, and that's okay too. So we took advantage of that one time. It was nice. I'm sure it'll happen again at some point,
Mhm.
but we always encourage our close friends to come and hang out with us. But it was nice. The stars aligned for it, and it was good. Um, we pulled our strategy once again. Fantasmic, 2 shows. Don't ever, unless you have to leave, don't ever go to the first show. There's nothing benefiting you at all for going to the first show of Fantasmic. If besides needing to leave early, let me know if there's a better reason to go to the first one than the second one. Uh, because now people are lining up like 90 minutes minimum ahead of time. That line is going all the way down Sunset Boulevard.
I don't.
So
I don't.
what
I
did we do?
There's no, especially on a night where there's two shows. People are spending 90 minutes waiting to get into Fantasmic. And in 90 minutes, you could do at least two rides, even on the busiest day in Hollywood studios. To me, I just don't get it. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, some people just don't know, I guess. But yeah, don't. Some people just have to be the first. We want to see. We got to see this one. Okay. Just if you're okay. Some people are okay with waiting in line that long. So if you are, that's okay too. But we knew it. We looked it up. We always look it up going into Hollywood. Oh, two shows.
Yeah,
Okay. And we even pushed the limit this time. I think we were walking down Sunset Boulevard at like 9:15 or something like that, and the show started at 9:30.
yeah,
Walked right in. There was a weird thing at the top though. We were up there and we expected everybody to be sitting already, and it's like they didn't let people in yet.
yeah,
So some kind of delay, I guess. And then when they did, everybody was civil and organized, and people kind of fanned out and sat. And I looked around both sides the other night. There wasn't a single soul sitting on either far right section or far left section.
mm,
Nobody. Everybody kind of came together in the middle, and then the very immediate sections next to those. Um, Funny interaction with the guests. I was walking, and we kind of rubbed elbows a little bit and upper arms. And I stopped and I turned around, looked at him, and he looked at me like there was going to be a little bit of an issue. And I was just like, oh, hey. Hey. I said, chill out, man. I'm like, it's really crowded here, and trust me, I don't like to touch anybody any more than you do. And I said, the good thing is you're not sweaty. And his girlfriend's laughing and she's dying, and he goes, well, you didn't touch the sweaty parts. And I'm like, well, that's good. So to close that story out, Tammy and I, after Fantasmic was great. I'll double back on that in a second. But to close out this dude, Tammy and I decided to be silly. We stood on Hollywood Boulevard on the curb, and we were pointing the camera at guests as they were leaving, only because the first one or two was like waving, like they wanted me to turn the camera to them. So I turned the camera to them, and they were like, "Hey," I'm like, "All right, good night. Thanks for joining us." You know, and the guy came along, and I was like, "Oh, hey, it was great watching the show with you. Hey, make sure you take a shower on the way when you hit the hotel." But he didn't hear me. But yeah, we had fun. We were waving to guests and thanking them for joining us today at Hollywood Studios. Um, so that was good. That was fun. The thing was, you and I tried to do some more production. We tried to push the limit on some tech, and you and I felt like it wasn't working up to par, up to the way we would have liked it. So you released the stream back to me, and when you did, I I didn't realize this, but you told me maybe 30-35 minutes after being in 4K, you messaged me and said, "Hey, you're in 4K." I'm like, Real 4K? Is this real? Like, is it coming through that way, but it's not really?" You're like, "No, this is real 4K." And I was like, I looked and I was like, oh, I accidentally set my settings to 4K. And I call that a happy accident. So everyone got to enjoy the rest of the stream in true 4K, and that made me happy. That made you happy. It made the audience happy. The viewers loved it. I told you to double back, right? We actually did Mickey and Minnie's, Smuggler's Run, and Fantasmic in 4K.
yeah.
So it
And
was flawless.
I can tell you the colors pop in 4K. The blacks are much deeper in 4K. So I was really happy to see, because I noticed it as you were walking to Fantasmic. So I went to do something, and I went to I don't know, maybe I was doing a poll or something, and I noticed that it said 4K, and I'm like, why would it say 4K? He's streaming directly, and I looked, and it was 4K, and man, what a difference it made being in 4K. So then also to see that you could do a couple rides in 4K, we feel pretty confident that we can carry at least 2K, if not 4K, but 2K might be the fallback. If 4K is not operating up to par. So yeah, I think you guys are all going to get a really crisp looking stream from now on.
going forward. So we'll dip our toes into the Epcot waters tomorrow at 4K and see how it goes. And hopefully it'll be beautiful and the signal will hold. And then we'll especially if that's whether it's a fail or not, we'll try it again at Magic Kingdom on Saturday. We did a private stream, you and I, over at Disney Springs right
Yep.
after Hollywood Studios, and that was flawless too. It was, I mean, the only time, and it wasn't 4K's fault. We went to World of Disney. I noticed there was a little bit of lag there. It wasn't even bad lag, and I just switched to Wi-Fi, and we were good to
Mm.
go again. So we're good to go there. I contacted AT&T, and they said I can stream 4K to my heart's delight, and there'll be no throttle downs or anything like that. So we can push the limit there. Neil did bring up a thing here, and this will be the last thing about tech, is that make sure it doesn't overheat the phone. There was no overheating or anything with the phone for as long as we did it. Now, condition wise, it wasn't 95 degrees or
Sure.
anything like that. So that's good. But if it's no different from when you're streaming 1080 in the heat, then we're gonna be good to go. So
Yeah.
excited to try that. We're always excited to try new things and push the envelope. And if it doesn't work out that time, we just resort back to Old Faithful, which is what we know to be good, flawless, crisp, clean um, content, as you all know it. So,
Yeah.
uh,
And if you're watching live or you're watching after the show, watching the replay, put in the comments, the things that we have tested that you like, and just let us know, because I think that kind of helps us know where we need to push the envelope and where we can kind of push that off to the side. But Corey's not afraid to push the envelope. I'm not afraid to push the envelope, especially if it gives all of you watching something really different. Um, so certainly let us know, if there's something that you would rather see or rather not see. We'll take that too. As long as it's constructive criticism, we'll certainly take it.
yeah, because one of my main drives is these are our viewers. These are our extended family. I get excited when I'm like, we can show them this. We can make their experience better. It's all about them, number one. And whenever something comes available that we can try, I love doing it. So we will we'll continue this as an experiment too, where YouTube released the target goals for streams. We're limiting that to just Wednesdays right now, and we tried it last week and it was a huge success, so we're going to try it again. And I'm coming up with new ways to reward those who help us reach our target goals. So for example, we did 15 super chats for $5, and at the end of it, anyone that donated one, even if you donated a couple of $5 super chats, you get one entry, and we randomly raffled off a $25 Disney gift card, and that is heading out to 86JB, who became the first winner. So we'll do that. We'll do some things where we give maybe a gift card to a cast member, deserving of that night, rather than just give a compliment. Throw them a nice gift card. I thought of some things where we can let the winner run the stream for an hour, that kind of thing. Tell
Hmm.
us where you want us to go. We can work with you on that. We don't want somebody saying, "All right, run to Space Mountain," and Space Mountain's 90 minutes.
Right. Right.
You gotta run it responsibly. We're gonna give you the controls, and we'll go where you want to go. We'll give you wait times and things like that. Again, yeah, if you want me to go eat something, like Shirley says, a Mickey ice cream sandwich. If you want to make me eat that, or a freaking turkey leg, we might have to up the ante on that. That sounds like 25 super chats on that one. No, but turkey legs, hams on sticks.
Hey, here's an update, an in-show update. Amy just messaged me. She remembered the third restaurant. It was Cinderella's Royal Table. That was the third.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep, Cinderella's Royal Table. We haven't been there in a while. I don't. It's that is the number one character experience, in my opinion, that you don't, food wise, you do not get what you pay for. That's it. I mean, it's the ultimate. It's kind of really the ultimate experience. To say you ate in the castle is
Uh,
a huge deal.
yep.
It it really bypasses any other dining experience with
Yeah.
characters. So I guess the expensive price kind of all weighs itself out because because you're eating in the castle is a really big deal. Don't expect to get full off that meal though.
No.
I mean, it's morsels.
And this episode's about going to Disney with toddlers. That's a rough one for toddlers if you're looking at value for what you paid for the food. You can't look at it that way because it will certainly not be there. It doesn't seem worth it. But you look at your child's face going inside the castle, right? I mean, kids are surprised just that you can walk through the castle going to Fantasyland, but to be in the castle and then to be able to look out the windows to Main Street certainly is great. And then when we went, we had a cast member who was really great and took pictures of us. He's like, I don't know, I think we were taking pictures from where we were, which was back almost by the staircase. And he was like, "Oh, let me take the picture for you." And he's like, "Come on, let's do it over excuse me, let's do it over here by the windows looking out towards Main Street." And he gets up and starts moving chairs and tables around to put us right where he wanted us. It was a great experience. So you have to look at it for the complete experience, not what you paid for the food. Yeah.
Yep. For sure, you got to weigh those things out.
Yeah.
So that's inside the parks, unless I missed anything else.
No. No. Hey Corey, did you know it's election night in America?
I forgot all about it.
It's election night in America. Probably because you voted early like I did.
Maybe we should do something about this. Should we vote right now on the podcast?
So we should vote. This is a close race across all of America. And the federal government has allowed the DIZPod, crazy as that may seem, to play a little bit of a role in election night.
So we're gonna let our live chat family be involved in this voting process right now.
Yeah, right
We're gonna
now.
go all political,
This
Disney
is
political, maybe.
political right now. All right. You know how we do this. We're going to do it by poll. We need your vote for treasurer, Scrooge McDuck or Hondo Onaka. Vote now in the poll. There you go.
Duck or Hondo Anaka.
Just that.
And what's that position for?
Treasurer.
Treasurer. Well, listen. You know, we all know who doesn't pay well. That's for sure.
So does
You
he?
know, who's Hondo?
Or that?
Hondo is the guy that you get the jobs from on Smuggler's Run. And
Yeah.
he has a reputation of not paying.
Mm-hmm.
He's a smuggler.
Mm.
Although Scrooge McDuck is tight with his money, right?
That he is. That he is. Yes.
You're asking tough questions.
I am.
Yeah. So while people are voting, you know, Disney Dina said it was beautiful, but portions are tiny for what you pay. You're paying for eating in the castle. And, you know, pro tip maybe. I I looked at the meal and I said to the waitress, I says, you know what? This is not going to cut it for me. And she brought me out double portions. So I think you can ask for more.
Oh.
Unless she was just making a little bit of magic.
Maybe. Very cool. So next week's show, we'll talk about that real quickly. Next week's show will not be on Tuesday because we will be live from Magic Kingdom next Tuesday for Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. So join us for that because that'll be my first time being there. That'll be the first time Corey and I have done a party alone. It's only the second time we've done a party together at all. but it'll be Corey and I alone. We've already started putting together a plan for the night. I think from what I've seen, we're gonna get our money's worth out of that party. I think so. Looking forward to
Yeah.
that.
Stick with us as always, everybody, because I always want to focus on all of you as you watch, and I want to show you at least one of the best ways to do a party. Maximize your dollar. Make sure you see as much as you can, and Lawrence and I will make sure that we do that for all of you. And I've had people come to me later and said, "I did this party better because I watched what you did."
Mm,
So. I take a lot of pride in that. So I'll hand you or you grab a map. You watch. You're just as good as I am in the park. So for the most part, I'm sure I'll just give you the brochure or whatever, the pamphlet, and we can look at times and we can strategize where to go.
yeah,
Where should we go next? Where should we go next?
yeah, yeah. I
Um,
think I think it'll be fun. As I said, it'll be my first time at the Very Merry Christmas Party. I have been fortunate enough to see the parade because Christmas, I forget what day they started, but Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, they run the Christmas parade. So I've been able to see that live, and that's just so much fun. The toy soldiers, just the dancing reindeer. Like, how can you beat it? So,
yeah.
um, yeah, we
Snow on Main Street.
snow on Main Street. Yeah.
You've never seen snow on Main Street, have you?
Oh, I don't think I would have.
It's magical. Oh, it's like you are home and never had the chance to see like a Macy's parade or something. Like you're living a moment in magic. Like you don't believe that you're there. Like it doesn't even feel real. I mean, I've stood at the very beginning of Main Street and to see the float come down with Mickey and Minnie dressed up in their Christmas clothes and just see the snowflakes falling is like,
Mm,
whoa, this is one of the greatest moments that you can ever have at Walt Disney World.
yeah. Well, I know that when we did Jollywood and it started snowing heavily on Hollywood Boulevard, like that got me. I was really surprised by that. And so yeah, I can only imagine what it's like on Main Street. So yeah, looking forward to that for sure. For sure.
Toy soldiers are equal to the Haunted Mansion gravediggers.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I even said when you were doing the party, I said, man, I wonder if they're the same, you know, they just
The
move
same people.
after. Yeah. They just move after.
Change of clothes.
Just
Just a
change.
change of clothes.
Are we
Yeah.
doing Space Mountain?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I'll do whatever you want. I guess it depends on wait time. Should be lower, right?
Should be lower, but you have the Christmas overlay.
Oh, yeah, then we have to do it. We
Yeah.
have to try to do our best to do that one.
Okay.
What else? Normally the other overlay is Speedway?
Speedway. Yep. Speedway. Does Teacups have one? And
Yes.
and Jingle Cruise. Got to do Jingle Cruise maybe. I mean Jingle Cruise
Yeah,
full time, but if we can fit it in, we'll certainly do that.
yeah, and we'll definitely try to get our hands on, some foods, some snacks, and some dinner of some type,
Yep.
and do that too. So, Shirley's really excited to see Park Bros in Magic Kingdom Christmas Party Episode 1.
Yes. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I got to thank Catherine for um I don't want to say allowing, that sounds kind of wrong, but for prompting me to go on
There you
her
go.
on my own. We were trying to figure out how to make it work with Finley in school, and she doesn't want to, even though it's kindergarten, she doesn't want her to miss any school. She does really well in school. A lot of that is all thanks to all of you that chat during the live stream, because Finley used to read the chat, and that's kind of where she started learning to read in the beginning. So we were trying to figure that out and just decided for me to go on my own. So this will be my first solo trip to Disney.
That's awesome. I know we're gonna have a lot of fun
Yeah.
together.
Yep.
Lots of fun, lots of laughs, and now that I get to hang out with you on Saturdays, and Tuesdays.
Yep.
So
Yeah. And then hopefully I'll meet up with Neil Sunday or Monday, or maybe even Tuesday during the day, depending on what he's doing. So yeah, should be a fun couple days.
yeah, Neil usually does a nice fill in for me. You know, when
Mm.
I can't make it there,
Yep.
does a nice fill in on the Sundays and the Mondays. He's good like that.
Yep.
Yeah. So very good, very very good. We said it all and done it all. I know we have to pay attention to our guy Victor for a moment.
Yeah.
So we can do that. Hey, do you have the ability to have the ability to run the video on that? Huh? Okay.
No.
No. Okay. No worries. If you're looking for a home that offers the perfect blend of luxury, comfort, and convenience with Disney World in your backyard, Victor Naraki is a licensed realtor with Vision Home Real Estate LLC. And he is there to help you find the home of your dreams. With over 13 years of experience in the Disney area home market and a proven track record of success, Victor is the perfect partner to guide you through every step of the home buying process. So why wait? Visit celebratingflorida.com today to learn more about Victor's exclusive range of properties and schedule a viewing with Victor. Your dream home is just a click away. And if you jump over to his YouTube channel at Victor Naraki, all one word, he is looking to gain up to 5,000 subscribers before the end of this year. And if he does, he will donate $1,000 to Give Kids the World virtually in all your names.
So I mentioned next week's show will not be on Tuesday. It'll be on Wednesday next week. And since it'll be the day that I am coming back, we're going to do a recap of Very Merry Christmas Party and maybe a preview of Jollywood Nights, and just kind of cover all the holidays there. Even though we're not doing Jollywood Nights this year, we'll still do a preview of it. Oh,
There could be an announcement
all
of
right.
Jollywood Nights.
Stay tuned for that. Maybe there's a Jollywood Nights coming up.
It started with date night. Now there could be
Oh,
a Jollywood date night.
I like that. I like that.
Could be. So
All
stay tuned
Shirley
for
Renee
that.
on the poll. Scrooge is your new treasurer by 92.
Congratulations, Scrooge! You won the poll. You won the election.
There you go. So, Catherine said, "I'm welcome." She says, "You're welcome, babe. You do a lot for us and deserve a little getaway to your happy place." Yeah, it is definitely nice.
What a nice lady.
Yes. All right. So next week will be a Wednesday, but tonight tomorrow we'll have Epcot with Luminous and a little bit of food and wine. Saturday we are at Magic, and Catherine asked if I'm going to wear my suit jacket on Tuesday. Maybe.
I was wondering that.
And then next week will be the Very Merry Christmas Party on Tuesday, and then our show will be Wednesday. We will have a Reliving in Diz this Sunday at 2:00 as well, as we get closer to the day that Disney shut down, and how you'll be able to see how the parks changed after that. So it'll be a little interesting. So right now we are in February of 2020. So we'll We'll have that on Sunday, and we'll keep that going.
Epcot, see you there, says Shirley. Yes. So hey, we'll give 4K a go again tomorrow night, and hopefully it is beautiful for all of you. And we'll have a lot of fun tomorrow night. Some Luminous World Showcase walkthrough, all that good stuff.
Love it.
So until then, we're just a couple of bros talking Disney, right?
That's right. We'll see you tomorrow from Epcot.
Peace, everyone. Why'd I say peace? Good night, everyone.